Hi everyone, welcome back to another session in Adobe Photoshop where I will be teaching you some of the most basic things here. Okay, so as how you can actually open up a new document or you can actually open up an image. Okay, so what exactly a document is? A document is basically a blank canvas where you open up. Okay, so that document or that blank canvas is going to be of a specific size, and then you can actually use the document to create all your illustrations, or you can actually, use that document to create your photo manipulations. Okay, but in case if you don't want to create a new document but you want to start off and you want to open up a new image by itself, I'm going to show you how you can do that as well. Okay, so when you open up Photoshop, you will be greeted with this blank screen which says welcome to Photoshop over here. Okay, so do ignore all the other images over here. Okay, so these were some of the projects that I have been working with. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with the most basic thing and how you can actually open up your new document. Okay, so to do that, I will be clicking on this button over here which says create new. So if I do this over here, okay, and there's another box comes up over here which says new document. So what it does is that, Photoshop is asking you to define the dimensions of your document right here. Okay, so by default, you will be seeing some other document size over here. Okay, so I see this clipboard one over here, which you can also see that it's in pixels, the dimensions over here. Okay, so it's 598 by 77 pixels over here. But of course, in case if you want to change your documents, you change the dimensions. Okay, you want to keep it in inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, or picas. Okay, we don't really use picas or points that much. Majority of the times we are working with these first four ones over here: pixels, inches, centimeters, and millimeters. That's what we usually work with. Okay, so of course, in case if you don't want this particular document size, you can of course choose any other document sizes from here. Adobe Photoshop actually has a huge variety of these sizes for you to choose from. Okay, so if you're a web developer and you want to, start off with, designing for your own web, you can actually choose, go over here to this web option over here and you can choose which one size you want to work with. Of course, in case if you don't find a particular dimension that you want to work with, you can also go ahead and type in your own values over here in the width and the height, and also change the dimensions if necessary. Okay, so apart from that, if you're a designer or if you're a student who's just starting with Adobe Photoshop, I would recommend that you actually work either with the art and illustration one or you actually start with the photo one. Okay, you can also start with the print one as well, where you will get more options for your document size. Okay, if you're a UI UX designer who wants to learn Photoshop, for you, I would specifically recommend the mobile one over here, okay? Or you could actually choose whichever one you want to use from here, okay? And let's see, okay, so I'm just temporarily going to use one of my preset or like this custom size document that I keep using now and again, which is 1000 by 1000 pixels over here, okay? So resolution is really, really important over here, okay? So you guys must be familiar with what resolution is, meaning that higher the resolution of your document or like your image is, the better quality it's going to be in. So lower the resolution, lower the quality. Okay? Right. So the color mode over here is also quite important. By default, you guys must be seeing it's in CMYK color, and over here you can also switch it back to the RGB color over here. Okay, so RGB basically stands for red, green, and blue. Okay, CMYK is also another color mode. Okay, so what happens is that of course both these two are quite different from each other in terms of color. Okay, so what happens is that sometimes if you have created a photo manipulation over here, you've created something, okay, and you want to get it printed and it's in CMYK color, okay, Sometimes not all the time, but sometimes what happens is that, the color might come out a little bit differently. Okay. So you might see a particular shade of color in your laptops or on your desktops. But when you actually get it printed, the color might come out to be a little too bright or a little bit too dull. So accordingly, you will have to actually keep that in mind and see as to which color mode actually suits best when it comes to printing purposes. So always get a test printing done. Okay. So coming over here to this background contents over here. Okay. So by default, you will be seeing that it's in white over here by default, which means that the background color of your document is going to be in white. Okay. Of course, in case if you want to choose a different color, you can of course choose black, and then your background color is going to be black over here. And of course, in case if you want a different color, okay, so for example, you want it red, orange, yellow, or any other color, you guys can actually choose a particular color from here, from the slider over here, and then of course, drag this over here and see which color actually suits you best or you want to experiment with. Okay, so I'm gonna come to this point later. I'm just gonna stick to white as of now because white is by default the color that is used for our documents right here. Now see over here the orientation. Okay, so by default, see, if my document is 1000 by 1000 pixels, it is going to be a perfect square, so the orientation doesn't really matter. But if you are working with some other size document whose width and height is completely different, you will actually have to then, play around with the orientation over here. So this one over here basically showcases, and it's quite self-explanatory, that this is a portrait format and this is the landscape format over here. Okay. So I'm just also going to rename my document over here. Again, by default, you will be seeing that the name of your document is going to be Untitled 1. Okay, that is again by default. I can, just remove this and then, just type out the word basics over here like this, and I'm going to click on this create. Okay, so there you go. We get our first document right here, and then you will see the next screen like this. Okay, so I'm just going to run you through as to where all tools you find where. And of course, in my upcoming videos, I have taught in brief as to what tool does what, and I've explained everything. Okay, so majority of the tools that we designers actually want to work with is on the left hand side over here. So this is more or less the tools panel over here, but this is not it. So these are some of the tools you actually see over here. Okay, for more other tools, I am hoping that you will be seeing these 3 dots over here. So if you just click and hold on to this, you will see that there are some more tools over here that are inside over here. So you can actually use these tools over here and then, create your very own photo manipulation over here. Okay. So coming over here to this portion over here, by default, you will be seeing that there is a black and white square over here. And what is this basically? So the black color you see over here is the foreground color and the white here is the background color. Okay. So now the fun bit is that, for example, you want to change the color of your background over here, right? So you have this document opened up, but now you actually want to play around with the colors. You do not want this white. For example, I want my background color to be of a very different color. Okay. So see here. Okay. By default, the foreground color over here is black. Okay. And this is the white, which is the background color. Okay. So I want this thing to be black as of now. So if you're a Windows user, you will actually have to click on the Alt key in your keyboard. And if you are a person who is using Mac, then it will be Command for you. So just click on Alt/Command key in your keyboard and click on the backspace key. Then directly you guys can actually add your color over here to your documents like that. Okay, so I'm going to click on undo, which is Ctrl+Z, like that. Okay, so over here on the top menu over here, you guys can see the other things as well, right? So in case if you want to save something, we've created something over here. So you can easily go ahead and save your files from this file option over here, and also click on the save as option right here. Okay, so over here basically some of our tools or important tools are here as well. Okay, so for example, I have created something over here in your track. You can actually use these filters option over here, filters option, and then you can create something over here. Okay, and I will be actually taking you guys through these tools in the upcoming videos as well. So don't worry, this is just the basic things and to get you familiarized with how the UI UX actually looks like. Or sorry, how the user interface actually looks like over here. So of course, one of the most important things that we will be working with is called the layers panel over here. Okay. So what the layers panel just what it actually helps us do is it helps us to organize all our artwork properly over here. Okay, so it actually helps us to rename certain things and also lock them if needed, unlock them if that's not needed also. Okay, so this was how you can actually open up a document right here. So what if I want to actually open up an image? Okay, so you can go to file and click on open over here. Okay, so I'm going to open up this image that I downloaded like this over here. Okay, so this is one step, one method, and actually how you can open up images over here. Okay, but what if I want this image inside my document right here? So how do I do that? So I'm going to go over here with my layers panel, and by default you guys can see, so instead of the document, I see this image right here in my thumbnail, and by default, it gets named to background. Okay, so this is by default. So you can unlock this by clicking on this lock layer over here, and then it gets changed to layer 0. So I'm going to be selecting my move tool over here, which is basically the first tool over here you see, which is with these arrows. Okay, then I can just drag this image over here and then just place it over here like this. Okay, like that. But this can be quite a tedious thing to do because this requires 2 steps, right? So notice over here as well, so as I drag the image over here, the layer also gets added over here by default. Okay, so what if I told you can actually add images in your document with only 1 step instead of 2? Okay, so I'm going to show you how. So we can go to file and click on place embedded over here. Okay, and I'm going to open up this PNG image of this alarm clock over here, and if I click on OK, do you see this image of my alarm clock has been added directly on my document right here. So I'm going to resize this as well. So I'm going to click on Ctrl+T, which is for free transform, and then I'm just going to resize it a little bit, and I'm just going to keep it over here like this. Okay, so what happens is that if you have images saved in your file and these images already have a particular name, and when you open that particular image here in Photoshop, you will see that it automatically adds the same name over here. So whereas I did not have any name for this model over here, I'm going to just double click and just write out the name model over here. Okay, so this was how you can actually place images inside your document right here. So I'm just going to close this as of now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can directly open up images without having to open up a new document each time. Okay, so create new is basically for creating new documents, as I just mentioned. And now if you just want to open up images, you click on this open option right here, and then you can just directly open up your images like this over here. Okay, so you don't have to keep opening up a new document each time. So it's as easy as just clicking on this open option right here. And then of course you can add more images by going to file, clicking on place embedded, and of course adding your images right here. See, like this over here. This is just like a random image over here like this, and click on this tick mark right here. So that's about it. So this was basically the basics of Photoshop and how you can actually open up new documents and images in Photoshop. So that's about it for this class. So now in the upcoming classes, I will be teaching you about all these basic tools over here, what these tools do and how you can actually use them. And of course, I will be teaching you in how you can create different kinds of photo manipulations, postal and invitation designs, typography also, and a lot more other things. Okay? So that's about it. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next class.